The Alliance Group, number 6 out of Beacon Falls, Connecticut, is Jonathan Smith.
Then we'll check out car number 52, Mr. Waterbury, Mike Mordino.
And then it's Billy Snow picking up the rear of the field with car number 87. They're 3 wide, and the Magnum is down mowing the lawn as he tries to find the low road down into turn number 2. Mad scramble there, but at the point, it's car number 3 for the 3-time champion, leading him off the 4th turn and back to the line.
And the fuse is already lit for second place. Dave Ray backpedaling, and Wayne Corey Jr. inherits the 2nd position.
Corey makes his presence felt in 2nd. Here comes Rick the Bear Charette. Remember, it's his sponsor, TSI Harley-Davidson night here at the Speedway, as now the Bear digs in and claws his way into the 3rd spot. Scott Foster, the racing electrician, looks for another victory. He'll move into the 4th spot with car number 44. And Tom Butler and Eddie Ricard are waiting in the wings.
Tom Butler said he thinks he has the best car among the fastest cars among those here. Power move by the electrician, Scott Foster, to get by Charette, and Tommy Butler makes the same move.
He sure does, and that is an aggressive move, as there is magic behind him as Ricard is being pressured by Mavla Jonas and Mark Lewis. Meanwhile, it is Jim Peterson who's working his way to contend among the top 10 cars. But Wayne Corey Jr. wastes no time at all. Bold move to the bottom of the 3-time champion. Pasacco and Corey, wheel to wheel and side by side. Off turn number 4, brand new leader emerges 3 laps in. It is Wayne Corey Jr.
As Corey is able to knock Pasacco out of the way and take over the lead. A man on the move, Scott Foster, car number 44, looking for his 2nd win of the year, and he is starting to narrow the distance between himself and Ryan Pasacco.
He sure is. They're closing up that gap on each and every circuit. Meanwhile, a little further back, Ed Ricard and Jim Mavlajanis have been side by side, lap after lap for the first 5 laps. Meanwhile, up front, things are starting to get heated up again. Scott Foster, the electrician, used to sell programs as a youngster in the grandstand here at Stafford. Tried a stunt in the modifieds for a while and went back to the late models, likes the full-bodied car, and he's showing you why. He is very strong here tonight with car number 44.
And maybe he sold one of those programs to Ryan Pasacco, who used to spend a lot of his youth here at the Speedway. Right now, they are trying to spend time together in 2nd place. Here comes Foster with that Knievel move as he kicks it down low. Not enough juice to evict Pasacco from 2nd.
There is no doubt about it. There's a great battle going on for the catbird seat. It is Foster. Nice clean run to the bottom of the racetrack. And the observant one is Tommy Butler. Butler sees the inside lane looking racy. Pasacco tries to bring it back down in the line and formation. Can't do it this time as they come off turn number 4. Give position number 3 to car number 4. The Mortgage Dreams machine is now dreaming about moving in to challenge for 2nd. Further back, it is Rick the Bear Charette in the 5th spot. Mavlajanis sets in 6th. Mark Lewis is 7th. Jim Peterson is 8th. Ed Ricard is 9th. And Tommy Fern is in position number 10.
And a guy starting to make a little noise deeper in the field, passing some cars. Scott Cook in car number 99, last week's winner. We shift to the front. Tommy Butler said this is the best car he has had all season. Let's see if it's good enough to narrow the distance between himself and Scott Foster Jr. Foster trying for the lead.
He sure is. Kind of a cat and mouse game. He reels him in, moves to the inside, can't do it, as now Wayne Corey's got to guard that inside lane. Foster is quicker on the clock by about a 10th as he will challenge again, but pulls it back into formation here. Now look a little further back, Matt, for the 5th spot, and Mavlajanis literally almost tagged the wall that time as Rick the Bear Charette still sets in position number 5. But the question there is for how long?
It looks like Corey might be slowing the field down because everybody's starting to get closer to the lead, especially Mavlajanis in car number 01, as he will try to whoosh his way underneath Charette. That's the best battle on the track right now for 5th and 6th.
Trouble now. The leader was sideways. Brand new leader emerges. Leader number 3 becomes car number 44, and it's Scott Foster in command of the big parade into turn number 2. Tommy Butler moves in for 2nd, and Pasacco is now back to life. We go to yellow We believe the caution is for car number 2, which is Doug Blowers out of Brighton, Massachusetts, who spun down the back straightaway. And look at the Diamond Vision screen. He gets it fired back up and will pick up at the rear of the field. So 12 of the 30 laps are now complete. Caution flag comes out. This is the first caution. There have been 3 different leaders in the event. Leader number 1 was car number 3 for Passaco, who led for 3 circuits. Leader number 2 became car number 10 for Wayne Corey Jr., who led until lap number 12. Then a brand new leader emerged. That's car number 44 for Scott Foster, and he is currently the man in command. Tommy Butler has been so, well, kind of up and down all season long. He's had some really good runs, and then on other nights, he hasn't been able to find the magic. And he'll tell you that this car has been a car that has always worked well in the past, but for some reason it's hard to figure out what will work to go the overall distance of 30 laps.
And he has said they have made some wrong moves at the start of races that have kind of held them back. But Tommy Butler every week usually has a top 5 car as we check out the Diamond Vision to see exactly what happened to Doug Blowers in car number 2. And this is a move where Scott Foster makes contact with Wayne Corey's back bumper, and a little give and take.
Yep.
Give a shot and take over the spot.
That's right, a little bump and grind action as Foster made the move that gave him position number 1, and now they're paired off in rows of 2 heading down the back straightaway. Let's reset the field for you. The leader of the field is car number 44 for Scott Foster. Wayne Corey to the outside. Car number 10, Tommy Butler and Ryan Passaco, 2 of the good old boys from Stafford, Jim Oblajanis and Rick the Bear Charette. Starter looks over to the field off turn number 4. We're looking and anticipating the green. 12 of the 30 laps are complete. We're green and racing down to the bottom of turn 1.
Clever move by Wayne Corey to get into the corner first, but retaliating is Scott Foster Jr., and Foster didn't waste any time to get his groove back.
And Butler saw the door open. He'll move to the bottom of the racetrack, give position number 2 to car number 4. Teammate of Wayne Corey, Jim Oblajanis, the seasoned veteran, shows the young driver how to get the job done, as Oblajanis will take over position number 3. Now, right there with him is the juice, Mark Lewis. He's been hanging around with the big boys and the big dogs on the porch. He'll now challenge for the 4th spot.
The MO of Lewis, that car always seems to get faster in the tail end of a race. Right now he uses that energy to blur his way past Wayne Corey Jr. Passaco trying to get underneath the 10 car. One thing about Jim Oblajanis, Ben, if he can keep that car on the track and it can stay out of trouble, he can do some passing with that 0-1 car.
He sure can, and he has been very strong and very consistent. Meanwhile, the quiet one, Stafford's all-time winningest late model driver, Jimmy Peterson, has picked up yet another position, and that'll put him into the top 6. Wayne Corey struggles in the 7th spot, and then it's Rick the Bear Charette in 8th, and Ricard is 9th. And last week's feature event winner, Scott Cook, is now setting at the bottom of the top 10. Who else isn't there yet? Corey Hutchins not doing much tonight so far, and Woody Pitcat has been waiting for a curtain call, but he's way backstage in this one.
And a little contact between the 90 and the 48 almost put Pitcat on the grass, but he's able to make a recovery. Look at Michael Bennett in car number 64, almost chomped his way underneath his mentor, Woody Pitcat.
Remember, Bennett spun on the first lap, literally went down through the bottom of the racetrack. He had an awful lot of time to make up and was unable to do it, but now he's showing some potential. But a new second place car emerges. The colors red, white, and blue and extra marked. It is car number 01. Jim Oblajanis is on top of his game tonight. When you can pass Tommy Butler here at Stafford in the late models, that's saying something. You can put that on your resume.
Butler gave him the room, and Oblajanis racing like he did 10 or 15 years ago at Stafford. Let's see if he has enough car left to make a shot at Scott Foster Jr. in the lead. He still has 11 laps when they cross the stripe. Ryan Passaco trying for a good run, and there's trouble on the backstretch. Charette grazed the wall, and John Warren was also a casualty.
Now, they've had their share of problems in this event. It appears something is let go in the rear suspension on car number 14, but it is still Scott Foster setting the pace out in front. Last time by, his times was 22.191. How fast is Mavrogiannis? 22.041. So in theory, the faster of the two is Mavrogiannis. But there's one problem. It is Scott Foster, who's got a clean racetrack, and he's out in front. And is his spotter telling him to just back it down just a bit? Because now all of a sudden the lead is starting to build for Scott Foster.
And Foster is a man with a baton. He dictates the pace, and it is Mavrogiannis who has to follow his rhythm. Things are heating up in the battle for third. Here comes the 38 of Mark Lewis. And if past races are any indication, Ben, Lewis is usually at his best during the final 5 laps.
He sure is, and he is long overdue for a victory here in this late model division. He's been consistently among the top 5 cars week after week. Last week we saw a new winner, Scott Cook, and a very deserving one, as Cook is still coming towards the front of the field. He's up to the 8th spot. Michael Bennett, great comeback, in 9th, and Woody Pitkat currently sits in the 10th spot. There's 8 circuits remaining, and Scott Foster appears to have things well under control, but somebody better tell Jim Mavrogiannis, because he is less than a car length off the back bumper of Scott Foster, and Foster's car does not visually appear to be as quick as it was earlier. Ed Ricard is off the pace mat with car number 77.
But the lead is shrinking at the front of the field between Foster and Mavrogiannis. Scott Foster started his career in the late models, went to the SKs for a while, then went back to the late models, but Mavrogiannis, as the yellow came out, has always been a full fender man.
He sure has. His Ed Ricard is a car that had something in the suspension let go as he went down the back straight where we saw an excessive amount of sparks, and now he's heading behind the wall. David Ray also out of the competition. Bobby Leone, Rick the Bear Charette, and the number 55 car are all on pit road with mechanical problems for John Warren out of Chicopee, Massachusetts. Let's go down to Tony Sutton. Tony?
Well, Mark Lewis is a guy who's got a great attitude and a great personality, and he also is a real fan of the French fries here at Stafford. Right now they're racing for fun, but you would never know it looking at him go out there as the 38 car moving toward the front. Mark Lewis, someone to be challenged, someone to challenge, and someone to be respected as we're going to have this restart in just a few minutes.
So we're moments away from going back to green. Car number 87 for Bill Snow Jr. also heads down on pit road. This is kind of a last-minute adjustment here before they send that car back out in the competition. The Busch East autograph session will be from 7 until 8 o'clock. Tony Logano will be down there with Kovaluk, Earnhardt, Therault, and more. So you want to head down there and meet some of the superstars of today and the superstars of tomorrow. But right now we're still under yellow as the Super Clean safety team checks out the racing surface in turn number 2. We'll go back to our host, Dean Mercier. Dean?
Okay, thank you, Ben. I do want to remind you, as Ben just did, the autograph session is underway on the upper midway. And we have some Busch East drivers over there, so make your way to the upper midway, and you'll see the table set up just to the right of the entrance to the Fairgrounds restaurant on the upper midway. TSI Harley-Davidson, the 17th annual TSI Harley-Davidson NASCAR 150 Busch East event. And we have TSI Harley-Davidsons in CarQuest Victory Lane and on the track this evening working the pace laps before each feature event. You'll see Ron driving a 2007 Harley-Davidson Sportster Nightster, and Norm is aboard a 2006 Harley-Davidson V-Rod. Either one of those bikes Tony Sutton and I would love to have, I guarantee you that. Race fans, the number 2 SK Modified team is once again hosting the Bosch Fan Experience Contest. Race fans can purchase a raffle ticket for $5 at the Speedway Collectibles booth located behind Turn 4 for a chance to become the Bosch Fan Experience winner, and by doing so, you'll serve as an honorary car owner of the number 2 SK Modified for an evening. All raffle proceeds will be donated to the Victory Junction Game Camp in conjunction with the Tom Baldwin Memorial Open and Stafford Motor Speedway. Down to Tony Sutton now for this update. Tony?
Well, we've got every card here. Obviously, this is not where we want to be. Man, that went up and spoke big time. What happened?
Theater.
Oh, it was water and not the motor exploding.
I hope so. That's what I'm being told, so.
Well, the 77 with damage here, but it's not a blown motor. We'll send it back upstairs.
Okay, thank you, Tony. The late model contingency partners here at Stafford Motor Speedway include our good friends at CarQuest Auto Parts, J.H. Berlin Oil Company, New England Racing Fuel, Sunoco Brand, Connecticut Trailers, and Driscoll Motorsports Photography. Don't forget, coming up tonight, along about 9 o'clock, we will have the TSI Harley-Davidson NASCAR Busch East feature event. The Busch East will tour 150 laps around the half mile. Still to come, following our late model feature, the SK Modified 40 and the Dare Stock 15-lap event. Let's go back over to Ben Dodge and Matt Buckler.
Well, you see a long line is forming for our autograph session. It's starting now. It will go to 8 o'clock. And Joey Logano, one of those involved. And I see a reporter from the Great State newspaper, one of the first in line to get Joey's autograph, along with Matt Kobaluk and Jeffrey Earnhardt and Michelle Theriault, and they'll also be joined by more. So quite a list of not only autograph givers, but autograph seekers tonight at Stafford.
Well, we're about ready to go back to green as the temperatures are getting really hot and steamy now, with 23 of the 30 laps into the record book. 7 laps left in this event. Scott Foster has been the guy to watch, but Jim Mavlajanis is turning in a stellar run on the outside, threading the needle, coming to the front of the field. Don't count out him or the men in the second row. Tommy Butler, along with Mark Lewis, as they come off turn number 4. We're green and racing back down into turn number 1.
So Jim Mavlajanis, whose best finish this year has been 4th place, is trying to duke it out with Tommy Butler in a confrontation for second, and by nostrils, Butler clears Mavlajanis to move into the runner-up position.
Butler is no stranger to running that tight bottom line, and he'll take back second. Meanwhile, Pasacco is up to the 4th spot, and moving into 5th, it is Jimmy Peterson. Peterson has come to the front with the skill of a surgeon. Along with him is Woody Pitkat in the Frenchman car, car number 48. He'll make his presence felt down underneath Lewis, bottom side of the racetrack, and now it is Mavlajanis who applies the pressure to Butler.
He made that lunge underneath the 4 car. Butler was ready for it, was able to shrug it off. Here's that move again by Mavlajanis. He has pulled even with Tommy Butler.
Down the back straightaway, pure horsepower decides who makes it down into turn number 3. Mavlajanis with a slight advantage. Center of the turn. He mashes the gas, comes back to the line, and Mavlajanis is up to second. Meanwhile, here comes Pasacco. He wants to play with the big dogs. He's been there, done that before, as Pasacco now challenges Butler for 4th. And Jimmy Peterson, who speaks with his right foot, is up to the top 5. And Mark Lewis has been hanging around with the big dogs, with Woody Pitkat in there to contend as well.
Those sparks you just saw was from the bump between the 3 of Pasacco and the 4 from Stafford. They go at it again. What a duel for 3rd place. Peterson also involved, but the man in the rarefied atmosphere of the lead, Scott Foster. Here comes Pasacco taking another shot at Butler.
Well, they head back to the stripe, and this time there's 2 laps remaining in the event. They are almost 3 wide as Peterson now moves to the bottom. Butler makes a little contact with Pasacco, but Pasacco settles back into 3rd. Jimmy Peterson and Butler, 2 of the all-time best in the late models, Matt. The clock is ticking and time is running out.
And that time Peterson's car got a little sideways, but like veterans do, he is able to straighten things out. Mark Lewis is also there. It's going to be a great final lap for 4th place. There's not much drama at the lead, however, for Foster, unless Mavlajanis can provide some. Yellow out. We have the drama we wanted.
It is Blowers who brings out another yellow with a spin to the bottom of the racetrack off turn number 4, and that caution could change the entire complexion of this event. If you're just joining us here at the Stafford Motor Speedway for the very first time, we want to mention that we do not go to single file to close out a race event. It's double file right to the end.
And we're ready for the 3 most exciting words in weekly motorsports: green, white, checker, to determine the winner of our 30-lap late model feature.
That's right, and we have already witnessed on the last caution, Matt, that it appeared that competitors like Butler, they needed this period for the car to cool down just a bit, the tires, and they would come on strong for the first 2 laps after they went back to green. Will that be the story now? This is not the caution that Scott Foster, our leader, was looking for.
No, he was almost able to rehearse his victory speech. Now he's got to figure out a way to hold off Mavrogiannis, Pasacco, and Butler. So look at the company of guys who are behind him. Mavrogiannis, one of the great full-fender drivers at Stafford, whether it's been a pro stock or a late model. Ryan Pasacco with 23 career victories, and Tommy Butler with 21 career victories. So for Foster to get that win, he is going to have to hold off a Stafford late model Hall of Fame.
Ryan Pasacco, he has had such a difficult 2007 season. He'll tell you that he's been really disappointed that they can't find that old magic that they used to have with the number 3 car. But let's see what's going to happen here, because it's going to be all-out racing as they are paired off in rows of 2. Ready to do it again. Foster teamed up with Mavrogiannis. Place your bets now, because in just a matter of 1 turn, we're going racing for this green-white checker to wind out the late model main event on TSI Harley-Davidson night. They come off turn number 4. Down to the stripe they come, Matt. Slight advantage at the line for Foster.
Mavrogiannis not giving up any ground, however. They waltz into the second corner. Foster trying to pull away, and he clears Mavrogiannis by a car length, opening up some room for Pasacco.
Pasacco tries to squeak to the bottom. They bump draft to the center of the turn. Off the 4th turn, the white flag is out, and there's no surrendering at the point.
They try to rattle the cage of Foster. He was ready for it. Foster holding off Mavrogiannis for now, but they blister their way down the backstretch. Peterson trying to move into 3rd, but the drama is at the front. Here comes Mavrogiannis. One more shot at Foster.
He touches him as they come off the turn. Mavrogiannis is down low. They're tracting, drifting it to the line. It is Foster who'll take down the victory. Finishing in the catbird seat, car number 01 for Jim Mavrogiannis. A great run there. Ryan Pasacco to finish in 3rd. Jimmy Peterson to finish 4th, with Tommy Butler to round out the top 5.
The best finish of the year for Jim Mavrogiannis, but he did everything but blindfold Scott Foster, and Foster was able to hold on. It will be Ryan Pasacco taking 3rd. Good run for Jim Peterson in 4th, and Tommy Butler survives to finish in the top 5.
Mark Lewis hung around with the big dogs all afternoon long. He'll finish in the 6th spot. Great comeback for Woody Pitkat to finish in 7th. Corey Hutchings, a disappointing 8th over Scott Cook in 9th, and Michael Bennett to finish in 10th.
Mark St. Hilaire, one of his best runs of the year, finishes 11th, followed by Wayne Corey Jr., Tom Fern in 13th, Mike Mordino in 14th, and Jonathan Smith, we will see him later on in the Busch East race. He finished 15th.
David Ray will finish in 16th over Patrick Townsend in 17th. Donnie Acker in 18th. Steve McQuillan is 19th. And William Snow will finish in 20th.
Then Doug Blowers is 21st, followed by Tony LaFoe. Eager Ed Ricard, 23rd. Rick Charette, not the kind of night he wanted on TSI Harley-Davidson night, 24th. John Warren, 25th.
John Hill will finish in 26th, and Robert Leone will finish in 27th. Right now, our attention shifts to CarQuest Victory Lane, where a very happy Scott Foster will be there in the winner's circle. Tony?
And he is in the winner's circle. He's out of his car already, and big smile, a little Village Spring water to replace the moisture lost during that race. And boy, when you saw that last yellow flag, you must have been saying, oh no.
Oh yeah, I was nervous there. The 01 was the car to beat. He was the class of the field, and I was actually really struggling with my car, and he was giving it all the worth. I wasn't going to give him the bottom at the end. He'd have to move me out of the way, and he tried, but he raced me like a gentleman. You know, he gave me a few shots and let me save it, and that was great of him. I got to apologize to the 10. I got into him for the lead. He just slowed down more than I thought in the center of the corner. I never meant to punt him like that. I mean, I know he straightened out, but I got to thank all the crew, Billy the Kid, Steve McCarthy for an awesome setup, Freedom RV, Scott's Electric, and anybody in the stands that's rooting for me, I love you.
Scott Foster Jr., congratulations on your victory in the late model event.
Thank you very much.
And again, we want to remind you that the Busch East Series drivers are doing their autograph session. It'll run until 8 this evening, and all you have to do is go out to the main midway, and you'll see the line. You'll see the group of people. You'll know where it is. Just to the right of the entrance to the Fairgrounds restaurant, you'll see the Fairgrounds restaurant entrance, the red awning, and just to the right of that, the Busch East Series drivers conducting an autograph session. Conducting an interview with our second place finisher in CarQuest Victory Lane is Tony Sutton.
Well, Jim Malvagianis, that's like days of old, man. You drove the wheels off this thing coming from ninth place to finish second.
It's been a long time since I've been here. First of all, I want to wish Scott congratulations. He did a hell of a job. Same thing to Ryan. I want to thank the fans for coming out. I got to thank my sponsors, Extra Mark Convenience Stores. They've been with me for many, many years. Burns & Kelly, TA Engines, Magna Steel, Sunoco Race Fuels. And you know what? I got to thank the crew, because you know what? If it wasn't for the crew and my wife, I wouldn't be here. And it's the hard hours that they put in the garage that makes this car go good. And we've been really working at it, fighting, and hopefully we'll get to victory lane. We need one more spot.
I'll tell you what, you were so close this evening. Congratulations on your podium finish second. Jim Malvagianis, it's good to talk to you in this place.
Thanks, it's great to be here. Hopefully we'll be back next week.
Our late model contingency partners include CarQuest Auto Parts, GH Berlin Oil Company, New England Racing Fuel, Sunoco Brand, Connecticut Trailers, and Driscoll Motorsports Photography. Finishing third, Ryan Pisacco. He's with Tony Sutton.
Well, Ryan, third place, and man, it was a hard-fought third place, because you went from starting third back to about eighth and had to work your way back through the field.
Yeah, we're struggling. Everybody knows it. It's tough, you know, but we're not going to give up. I got to thank Bob Phil for this car's been up there every week for the past couple of weeks, and he's working his butt off for us, and that means a lot. And you know, we'll figure it out.
Ryan Pisacco, congratulations on third place.
Thanks.